Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're coming over from Instagram, thank you. I am going to make my whipped tallow sticks. Many of you have seen me mention and you've been requesting this video for quite some time. So I'm finally getting to it, but while you're here, make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my recipes that I may end up and make. I do a high fat approach, so I look at ways of incorporating the extra fat, animal fats, into my diet, creative ways to get those in, because some people aren't able to tolerate just rendered fat. So what I have behind me is a bowl of tallow. I rendered it down from suet. Go check out my video on how I cube up my suet, chunk up my suet, prepare it, and as I cook it, I do end up and get tallow rendered off. So the tallow behind me, I ended up and I rendered this morning. I let it come up to room temp, more of a solidify. But we'll jump right into it. The only thing that I do besides tallow is these little drops. You've seen me reference them before. They're Capella drops. I have caramel and I have vanilla ice cream flavor. So I will be adding those. So I have my big bowl of suet or tallow. I ended up and will add the vanilla to. I am going to do some in, get you turned here. I'm going to do a smaller bowl of caramel flavor. What I use to make my sticks is these little silicone molds. This one is actually meant for like ice cubes for water bottles. This one is more typically known as like the egg muffins or muffins that you use for an Instapot. They're just the silicone ones. So without further ado, I will get to making it. So in the bigger one, I'm going to end up adding anywhere, it depends how much flavor you want in it. I typically end up and add about 15 drops. Now these are just a concentrated flavoring. They don't have any shelf stabilizers in them or anything. They're just a flavor concentrate. And it doesn't have any sweeteners, any dairy, anything like that. It is just strictly fat. So what I do is add that, and then I'm gonna get to whipping. Just a cheap old hand mixer does the trick. You'll end up and see how it became nice and fluffy. What we'll do is we'll just take that and spoon it right into this mold. So once I get it spooned into the mold. Here, we'll back things up here so you can see. Okay. So we'll just spoon it right there into the mold. Okay. So we're just going to fill these molds. Like I said, roughly 2 tablespoons ends up and fills. Kind of scrunch it down so you don't get the air bubbles in there. But it's a nice light fluffy fat, which once I get this full, I will end up and put it in the freezer to harden that tallow, and then you can just store it in a Ziploc bag, or I have also ended up and froze them into like food saver bags individually. You can, if you like to, clean up your mold so it makes nice little pretty sticks, which I'll show you here in just a second. Okay. So I just run my spoon back over the top. And they really don't have to sit in the freezer very long for this tallow to harden back up. It just takes a couple minutes. Okay, just like that. And like I said, now I will stick this one in the freezer. Now let's go on to filling this one. Well, again, I'll just end up and do 2 tablespoons. Keep things consistent. That way, when I end up and feel like I need some extra fat, I can just end up and grab, you know, one of these discs or one of those sticks. And because I am a carnivore that tracks, it is easier to track once I keep things consistent, of knowing exactly how many tablespoons of tallow. Now, some of my tablespoons may be, you know, a little bit more full, but roughly I know they're all 2 tablespoons. Okay. Well, these are chilling. We'll go ahead and whip up that caramel batch as well. Okay, so we're just going to set the vanilla batch aside. And like I said, because this is smaller, I'm only going to add maybe 7 drops. A few extra, lost count. But we'll end up whipping this up, doing the exact same as what we did with the other batch. So I'll get all that tallow in there and we'll just get to whipping. there's the caramel batch. So now I'll check the first batch of sticks that we did. They're still a little bit soft, so we'll leave them in there for a bit longer. But like I said, you can end up, these little Capella drops, they come in several flavors. You can get them, I get mine on Amazon. You can order them from the company, you know, themselves. But you can also, you know, end up and just keep this in the fridge, eat it with a spoon, you know, put it in a little dish that travels nicely to work. The ones that I previously have made when I was referencing putting them in a food saver bag. So these are my little, you know, food sticks that I already, or tallow sticks that I already have made. So I just put them in here. I can, you know, take these with me. You can always just snip the end off, push the fat out if it ends up and softens while you're out and about, but it still allows you to get that fat for energy. So that's the way that I end up and make my tallow sticks. Once these harden up, I will put you on pause and we will be right back once they harden. Hey everyone, welcome back. So they were in the freezer. I'm gonna pull them out of this little silicone mold. And this is what your tallow sticks will look like. Those little discs, this is what it's gonna look like. And then I just store them, you know, in a dish or a bag, but just bite through. So you don't have the hard, solid tallow. Like if you would just take regular tallow, put it in the fridge, it gets brick solid. These tallows are definitely bite through because of the being whipped effect, and it tastes like the vanilla drops that I put in. So I'm glad you all joined us. Like I said, click subscribe. Also, I do coaching sessions. So if those interest you, I will put the links below and I'd be happy to end up and talk to you. Thanks